We got 2016 in here, Fusion, I think 2.0. Customer complaint. Intermittent stall condition only happened a few times. We're gonna pull codes, take a quick look at some data, maybe any recorded snapshots of history. And see what we see. Let the Zeus recognize the vehicle. Haven't found it yet. May take a few seconds. Looks like it was picking it up now. There it is. Sees the vehicle. We'll do a full system scan. Only 52K on the vehicle. Do a full system scan and see if we see anything pertaining to engine. Yes. Got some purge codes. Restriction, stall, nah, I don't know. Purge will definitely install that vehicle. And we have fuel pressure. That one, yeah, that one there is interesting. Circuit code at that. It's not current, pending. Nothing's current on the engine. Alright, but that is a pending. There we go. Any other codes? Anti-lock brakes, door module, power steering, a communication error. Let's go in the engine and see if we have any ability to see a snapshot. So I guess we'll have to do a generic because it is a Ford and they're limited on Snap-on. Can't do it from the OE side. Let's see what it says. A PO144A. What was the 144A? Eh? Let's go back to data so I don't have to exit. 144A is the evac purge. Locked in line. This is the latest code though. I'm only seeing one from it. That's all it's giving me. What miles did it happen at? So it's been 40,000 miles. So this is at 50. That's 12,000 miles ago. I'm kind of wondering if that one had anything to do with this. How Snap-on saves it in their generic platform is questionable. What are we looking at? We were, what, evap pressure 773. Ugh. And that one should be in the tank. So that is questionable being a problem. But it happened 12,000 miles ago. She said this stall was recent. Strange. Uh-huh. I don't see our fuel pressure. Fuel input percentage 48. Short term is 0.8. You would think if I was pulling that hard on the tank, I'd be seeing a rich condition, and I'm not. Long terms want fuel. Short terms almost zeroed. O2S current bank milliamp, and O2 is about what I'm seeing in the fuel term. Alright, not seeing any input there. I'm questioning that code because of when it is stored 12,000 miles ago. This symptom is recent. So let's go back to main. I want to pull up some data. Check fault real quick. See if we don't see anything in here on this fuel pressure sensor, possibly faulting right now. No faults, no faults, no faults, no faults. Okay, out of there. Go to the data and look at actual fuel pressure. Here's fuel pressure, fuel trim and sensors. Let's see what we got in there. I know Snap-on's kind of all over the place with this data on Fords for some reason. Let's go to custom. We'll drop everything off this list. We're going to focus on the fuel and this sensor circuit code to start with. See if there's something weird going on there. And then we'll go out E-scan and see if this shows a snapshot that's more recent. Because this one doesn't. If we have to, we'll break out forward. Try not to, but if we have to, we may have to. Alright. I see rail pressure desired. Not seeing my actual. See status. Low pressure low side PSI, low pressure desired. I do not see the high pressure. Come on. I only see status and voltage. So what are the other offers? Engine management, try it. See if desire is in it. There it is. Well, we had desired, we didn't have actual fuel pressure. There we go. Let's take a look. See what we got going on. Our low side is pressure is actually higher than desired, and we're not started. Same on the high side, but I believe that's normal, waiting for a start. So let's start and see what our pressures look like then. We're set at 108 on the low side, 600 and some on the high side, making me think there's no fuel pump issue. Our desired climbed way up, and let's let it warm up. We're desired 1500, we're hitting 1490. Our low side is desired 68, and we're hitting 108. Yeah. We may have a sensor problem. What is going on? Now our pressure, it looks like our control on the high side is good. So I'm not seeing anything there I don't like. But that low side sensor is out there. That's saying 108 PSI. Let's see if we can load duty cycle again. Do we do duty cycle in here? See what our duty cycles is. If we got that high much pressure showing, we're going to have a low duty cycle. So let's take a look at it. Fuel pump. There we go. Our duty cycle is low, like I expected. That's questionable. Don't like that. So let's go ahead and I want to pull the fuel pump relay. We'll pull the relay and see if this low side drops. Let's go back, find out where this relay is. We're going to wire diagrams and click on the fuse box, find out where it's at. This is a 9, yes, and it is an SE. It is all-wheel drive. Use this vehicle. Alright, let's go to wiring diagrams. Engine 20U, I believe it was, or no, 209. And the performance is a non-turbo, I mean a non-hybrid. So that must be the difference. There's our fuel pump relay. That's what I'm looking for right now. Alright, it's in the battery junction box. So let's click on junction box and see if we can locate this relay. I want to pull the relay, see if duty cycle changes and see if my low side actually comes down to verify this pump isn't doing something crazy. That's basically what we're going to do. I mean, my duty cycle, my pressure should bottom out. My duty cycle should go to 100, is what I would expect. Component location. Don't have a, let's see if it's got a diagram and location. Oh God, this is a joke. Come on. So you got a diagram in there. Better let it catch up. There we go, we got a diagram. Once it shows it. There it is. Fuel pump relay is marked. Where you at? R42. Where's R42? R42, there it is. I see that strange box over here. So let's go ahead and go back to our data. And we're going to pull fuel pump relay. And watch what happens with this pressure here and this duty cycle. I'm suspecting if my pressure is there, my duty cycle is not going to change. If it changes, let's say my bottom out to 0, and then we can start thinking we got a fuel pump issue. Something crazy going on with fuel pump control. We're going to pull the relay. Engine should stall here shortly. Our duty cycle, my pressure should drop, my duty cycle should go through the roof. My duty cycle is moving. I expect to stall here any minute. Now my duty cycle's coming down. Oh my God. I mean, this thing should be getting ready to stall. My fuel air pressure is starting to see some fatigue. My low side's not changing, but we should be stalling any second. If that's the fuel pump relay, which I believe it is. Hold on, puppy. There ain't one stall. Run along rest, but this is a 4-banger. But my pressure's decaying. But not much yet on the high side, but it is decaying. Desired is higher. I got like 230. And it was pretty close before. It's bouncing around a little bit. I'm gonna give it a little gas. See what happens. See if that fuel pump does go down. Oh yeah, we're bottom out. There we go. My duty cycle did go to 70 now because we're at a stall. My fuel pressure never really moved. I see a drop of 3 psi on that gauge, and that's it. We went from 108 to 105, and we clearly lost all our pressure because we bottomed out. We dropped down to nothing on the high side. So something's going on there. My duty cycle did climb after the stall, but not doing the issue. Let's pause that and study that a little bit. But it seemed like to me the pressure dropped sooner. It was over here, then my duty cycle was up a little, but my duty cycle really didn't climb until the stall. It didn't move until it, and we're still sitting on 105 psi, and we know there's no pressure in the rail. I mean, no pressure in the line. That's interesting. I think we need to look into the possibility of this data is false. Try to start. And there's a start, barely. Let's see how low the pressures are. Now there's a stall. Alright, let's go back and try that again. See if we get a start. My duty cycle, we're setting at 102. Our sensor is slightly coming down. but there's no way the pump's not running. It's just residual. Yeah. And my pump is still saying 102. And when I'm cranking with that pressure being that high, my duty cycle is actually coming down because it's getting bad input from that pressure sensor. That's pretty cool. That's a good capture to save. And that duty cycle is coming down as I'm cranking because the ECM thinks I have fuel pressure, but I don't. The ECM thinks I do. I'm setting at 26 on the rail. I'm setting at 102 on the low side. That's pretty cool. I do like that. We'll save that snapshot. That's some pretty cool data there. But will this generate my stall? What I need to do, I want to investigate that sensor real fast and see what we find. I want to measure the voltages there. That's my low over here. And I believe the high is on this side. And there's the high. It's both 3-wire sensors. I ain't sure which is which. Let's take a quick look at component test. See how it shows it. Got a component test, North America, Fusion, non-hybrid, 2.0 EcoBoost. Engine, fuel system, pump, pressure, high pressure sensor, low pressure sensor. There we go. Alright. The 2.0 signal is number 1. Our reference is number 3. So the 2 outside ones are the ones. I wonder if we unplug it, does it go 0? Or does it show, I saved that screenshot. Let's save that data. Nah, I'm not saving the data. That screenshot's good enough. Tells a lie. I mean, it's giving me a lot of input. I'm seeing the computer control is actually paying attention to that sensor, is what's telling me. And that is a suspect album. I'm still on 103. Let's unplug the sensor if we can and see if it goes to 0 or something else, and give me an idea what type of circuit it is. I'm unplugged, and I actually go to 109. So we're stuck in that. It's definitely a pull down, is what I'm suspecting. Let me grab my computer safe test light, and we're going to pull that thing to ground and see if it goes to 0 to tell me that that circuit is not having an issue. Either one on the outside. So we'll touch that one. No lights. And we go to 0. Yeah. So there's definitely no circuit problems. So the other side should be, that one there is our signal. Let's hold it there a little bit so we can show that again. And the other side should be, yeah, there we go. That's our reference. That's our signal. And we go to ground. And our reference voltage is good. What I'm seeing there is telling me basically that there's nothing wrong with the circuit. It looks good. Only question I have, do we have ground on the sensor? And if we have ground, we have a faulty sensor. Let's check it real quick. See if we have ground. And if we have ground, we know we have a faulty sensor. We'll just check resistance. And we measure voltage and check resistance. We'll do both. Be creative. As of right now, I look like we have a bad sensor, and it's messing with the duty cycle control on the pump. And will that cause a stall? Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to say yeah. That's going to cause a stall, or possibly cause a stall depending on the load condition at the time. I mean, the way it ran at an idle for quite a bit makes me wonder how quick 32% going to handle a heavy load. That one I might want to just watch. We'll put the pump back in, I mean the fuse back in, and watch how it handles the duty cycle and the high side, see if it actually causes it to drop, because we are doing that. All right, we're going to measure the ground side pin, which is the center. Don't want to see no voltage there. We got 0.01, but yes, I suspect that it's not a problem. So we're going to order a sensor. But first, I'd like to see how it handles that load. Let's do that. We're going to delay a little bit. Just to rev the engine, watch our duty cycle. I know that sensor's doing nothing, so I don't know why I'm plugging it back in. We'll order in a sensor. Let's put a relay back in. I want to watch how my high side handles, see if it performs up to par at a 32%. We'll switch off a couple times, get our pressure back up. We'll see the high side come back up, because right now the high side's like nothing. Saying 28, but we know it's 0. Switch on. Engine off a couple times. We have to start now. Let's get our data back up. And I just want to do a bit of a hard acceleration and see how that duty cycle reacts. Is the computer using two ways to get that input, throttle, change duty cycle, or is it dependent solely on that low side pressure? This is what I'm curious. We're at 21% now, which is pretty weak. So I'm gonna give it acceleration and see if my duty cycle actually changes any. Does not. Let's look at the we know we got a bad sensor. There's no question about that one. Well, we're back. We actually had a Ford part in stock at the local parts store. Found interesting. So we're gonna go back in here. We just have the sensor laying and swapped out. Not even, or shall I say, laying on the air tube there. We haven't bothered to actually, let's go to engine management and see if everything's in there, so we ain't got to chase it around the planet. I want to see low side, high side, duty cycle. But we have the fuel relay pulled. We're just wanting to look at the data from the sensor, atmospheric pressure, see what it shows. This is all we're interested in seeing at this time, because we should be seeing atmospheric pressure. And we're not going to put the pump relay back in until we change the sensor. We just want to see if we're seeing the data that is expected here. Fuel pump duty cycle, fuel rail pressure, desired rail pressure. Look for low side fuel pressure, low side desired. Yeah, everything was there. Let's see what it's showing. Are we seeing like 0? We're saying 14 psi. So there we go. And our desired duty cycle is 75%. Much big difference. Now I'm liking what I see. So we'll change this sensor out real quick, because it is a sensor failure clearly, and then we can actually see what fuel pressure is doing on the low side for real. So I'm liking what I'm saying. We're going to go ahead and change that out. I'll pause. Could get ugly and messy and all that good stuff. We'll pause. doing the swap and get you back in here. Rail sensor's back in. We need to start. We'll just turn the switch on a couple times, build pressure. Try to make sure we don't have any fuel leaks. There we go. Retry to get our data list up. Things a little bit of a struggle to get out. And we do not see any fuel leaks. Good sign. A little residual sitting there from where I took it off. We'll go to graph. And I'm seeing low side. Desired is lower. There we go. Now we're seeing something that's interesting. Our desired pressure, our fuel level desired is in the area, but our low side desired is slightly lower. So have we found our actual problem? Let's go ahead and see how the low side handles. What's our duty cycle? 21. See how that low side handles at higher load. Yeah, our low side choking. High side is doing good, but low side is not performing. Now let's see how it does a switch off, switch on, and a no start. See if it actually will get pressure way up there, like the computer wants. But right now, I'm not seeing something I like out of that pump. My duty cycle should be up real high right now because we're at a start. So let's see how it acts. We should see high pressure on the low side. Custom graph. We're still on our custom list. Alright. My low side pressure is 79. Slightly lower than I want. I may actually want to look at this pumps. May have to get it on the lift for that one. Well, since I've changed the sensor, I mean, it's making 79. My duty cycle is at 75%. I think I might want to go into control. There's 80. Yes. I'm not liking it. I mean, don't have a good volume tool here for this system. But we're basically doing a block test here right now, more or less, because this is a returnal system. The pump's making 80 and desired is 90. I mean, my rail side is looking good, yeah. 53 desired, and I'm setting at 380. So it's ready. Has everything it needs. But I'm thinking, yes, we may be on something here. This fuel pump may have a problem, and that high pressure, low pressure sensor wasn't helping us identify it. It is making 80, but it's not meeting desired under a load or anything. Let's do a start. It's not meeting desired under a load or anything. Duty cycle is up there at 75%. We're doing better now. Let's look at a control. Let's see if I can actually control that pump's duty cycle and take it to 100 and see if it makes 100 psi is what I'd like to see. Let's go out of here and see what functional tests I got. Output, fuel pump. Hopefully it gives me data so I can actually see pressure. It is snap on. Who knows what it's going to give me. change list. I want to custom it. Engine management. Shame it don't pull up the custom list I've already been looking at. Would be nice if it did. Custom. Deselect all. I only want to look at low side because I'm running the test here. I guess we look at rail pressure. What the hell? I want to look at low side. Where you at? I didn't see it. There it is. Low side desire, low side pressure. List view. What the hell, man? What was that? I just went through all that for nothing. And it's not giving me a graph view on it. It's odd. There it is. It's not giving me anything. What in the world you doing, Snap-on? And I go back to list view. It does nothing. I don't get an okay. Where's it at? You know, it looks like we're lunched on that one. Alright, we're gonna have to, there we go. Now it's present. What in the world you doing, Snap-on? Oh, I get some on off. Pump on. That's all you get. There it goes. It made 100. Made 100. Made 109. 99. High rail's climbing. So I'm building pressure at the high rail. Alright, turn it off. Drop them down a little bit. Watch the K. Pump is off. Seems to be holding 99 in line. So I think it's time to visit the purge and look into it. We've solved the actual sensor problem. Clearly this, I'm making 99, it's not going to stall. I could look at the current ramp on the pump, but I'll need to put it on lift for that one. Right now I'm making 98. I think we better take a look at the purge and see what it looks like. We'll do a start. Still smell a little fuel, but I think it's just from my, if I put it up to 99, let's make sure we're not leaking. Nope, we're dry as can be. So that's good. We're just smelling fuel from the old. See no fuel leaks where I put that sensor in, so we're good. We're gonna do a start and we're gonna do a little bit of checking out on purge. Go back to evap system. Go back to evap data real quick. I want to look into it. Do a glance. Evap fuel. Continue. Can we see anything fanning out there? And I think I want to clear, or I'll get forward out real quick. See what it says for history. I mean, it's saying 12,000. I want to know what was the history on this. Snap-on's not showing the history on this fuel pressure sensor. I've done calls some though, so there's no sense in bothering. I'm seeing 12K. Custom. I just want to see evap. That's all I want to see. We've already looked at fault date on everything, and I didn't see anything on evap. Now we got that sensor, and we may want to take it out for a road test. I took it to a road test before I bung it in, and I couldn't reproduce. Here's fuel tank pressure. fuel tank pressure is not low at all. Canister vent valve is not opening. No fault. We're seeing a duty cycle, and now our vacuum's pulling. The engine just started pulling. Vacuum. Let's do a quick seal and check with engine off. Make sure we don't have a vent valve that's acting up. I'm just going to close the system. It should build a little pressure in the tank once I close it. Purge and seal. Vent valve. Let's just close the vent valve. Did we build pressure? If we don't build pressure fairly quick, it's a little warm today. I think I'm roughly, what, 76 in here. Alright, this is the vent valve. We'll turn it on. I heard it close. Where is my tank pressure? Fuel rail, fuel pressure, fuel system, fuel tank. Where's the fuel tank pressure? What in the world you give me here? I don't see the fuel tank pressure. Oh, come on, snap on. I'm in evap. What are you doing to me? It's got engine management, it looks like. Yeah, it's clearly engine management. I want evap. There you go. That's better. Fuel tank pressure. There it is. We're setting on 0. Valve's closed. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. There we go. No, it wasn't closed. What did it do? Exit when I changed the list? It must have. Let's see if it builds some pressure. Yes, it's building pressure. And fairly quick. Making me think we got a seal. Yep, still building. So we're building pressure. Let's do it again. We're still climbing. Turn it off. We're breathing well. They saying restriction. Now we're going to 0. And we're going to look at faults. We'll check pending. I don't expect to see anything. Let's go back to faults and make sure we're not seeing any fault data on the evap. Management is okay. I have no faults on the evap. Looks like I have no faults in any system. To reduce that symptom. And the customer did say it was intermittent, but is it 12K intermittent? From the way she talked, it happened a couple hundred miles ago. And that code was stored 12,000 miles ago, so I'm wanting to lean away from it being our problem. Could be wrong, but the fuel pressure sensor was a clear problem. That one was no doubt an active issue, and it was messing with our duty cycle. We didn't get quite to the root, I don't believe, but we fixed a clear, obvious problem that could be contributing to a drivability issue. I'll have to research that a little bit, but my low pressure stuck at 108. My duty cycle is not moving. throttle position sensor and throttle plate did not, when I did manipulated it did not change my duty cycle. Now with that fuel pressure sensor new and giving an accurate reading, my duty cycle is paying attention and changing fuel pressure. So I've corrected that issue. Have I corrected the symptom? That one we're not positive. I hope you enjoyed the video.